back to another Expert Consultant with your host, Chris Dickrsn, here to give you another game to talk about, give you some impressions. Today, it's going to be none other than Devil May Cry Peak of Combat, developed by Nebula Joy and released all the way in 2021 in China. We are finally receiving the official US release. Devil May Cry, as I'm sure a lot of you know, is a great, fantastic, stylish action game known for, I almost think, creating the character action genre, or at least modernizing it into the way it is now. The character action genre is my favorite video game genre of all time. Even I would say above JRPGs, if ever so slightly. It's just fun and always just feeling like a badass. You always can feel incredible, and it's like, I think Bayonetta is kind of a great example of what, and of course Devil May Cry 5, but just really what that kind of game can be when it's going on, firing on full cylinders. But yeah, I just love the stylish action. It feels like playing an anime in the best way possible. But yes, that's why I love character action games. And also, just as a side note, Virgil is like my favorite video game character ever to play as, so that certainly helps a little bit. Having just swords fly around you, and you're able to slash with magic swords and do the epic anime sword slash where he closes the sheath and everything behind him blows up. Incredible. Anyway, so Devil May Cry Peak of Combat, as previously mentioned, released in 2021 in China, and it was always a big question because I remember the news articles coming out around then. It was like, hey, this game is like a full Devil May Cry game. Why are we not seeing it? Why are we not seeing the in the West at all? And there was no even hint at a release date. And I fear that Persona the Phantom X is also going to be in the same vein. Like, we won't see that here in the West for like another 4 years, I guess, if we're lucky. Hopefully that's not true, but it's just how it feels after seeing this game take so long. But so I sat down, I played for a little bit, and I got some impressions. I got something to talk about. It's a mobile game, and that can obviously mean a variety of different things. I'm not as someone who is quick to jump on and hate mobile games like a lot of console or PC gamers. I think there's a place for it in the industry. Unfortunately, it is just, swamped with microtransactions, and as you can see on the screen, just upgrades, and like, you got so many different items. It's all about boosting a number. I've played many a mobile game that I just get really excited for, and then immediately just fall out of like care, because it just becomes a grind fest. Even if you spend money, you could spend $30 to $50, and it would still be a nonstop grind fest. And when I just have that, it just disappoints me, and I don't want to play it anymore. It was like that more recently with Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, a game I put like 15 hours into, and then when the progression just kind of stopped, and like I had spent like 10 hours leveling up my character, and then that was it, and it still kept going, and it was like, I'm not even getting strong enough at this point to take on the main story quests. And I was like, okay, so clearly the game is designed around making you spend a lot of money. Of course, it's a mobile game, but that's Final Fantasy VII. So Ever Crisis, I was hoping that maybe we'll see how this Devil May Cry game tries out. It is an interesting thing to put a full-fledged feeling Devil May Cry game, and of course it is stripped down for mobile devices, and it's fine. I'm okay with that. It doesn't control as smoothly or as tightly and stylish as its console counterparts, but I still think they're able to achieve something pretty cool and incredible here. I gotta say, it's like Devil May Cry Peak of Combat feels really good to play. I was playing it on my PC through emulation, and I hope they do plan to officially release a port eventually, because I just think that'd be fun. It feels real good to play, and that's probably the most disappointing thing, is when the rest of it feels so egregious and unfortunate. Just one look at the UI, and it's like, the screen is plastered off with button icons and menus. Even when you're at all times when you're playing, there is a shop icon, just like the little rotating click here to view the like special offer deal in the top right corner. It's always just flashing in your screen. It's the saddest thing. It's like, I just want to play the game, and it's like the game that's here is pretty entertaining. It's almost to the point like, yeah, it's a completely stripped down version of Devil May Cry, but it's a fun one, and that just goes to show how good Devil May Cry feels to play, that even a stripped down, bare bones mobile version can still be pretty incredible and fun to play. And yeah, there is a story, but like, I like Devil May Cry stories. They're fun. It's a great setup for this franchise, but it's here. There are cutscenes which I think are cool. They're fun. They feel certainly weird. It does feel like a little bit like Chinese bootleg dub of Devil May Cry, but you look past it, you can have a good time and just be silly. But really, what I like about the game is its combat, and I'm having such a fun time, like, really getting into battles and being stylish, and it has a character swap option too, which is something that's just, I love that idea. That's something that core Devil May Cry should adopt. The ability to switch characters on the fly and play with all their movesets feels really fun to do. And then unfortunately we get into this Devil May Cry Peak of Combat introduces the traditional mobile game thing of each character has their own types, and each one has their own kind of like, this one's stronger than this one, so you need to level up all your characters and spend money and items on all your characters so you can level them up and keep the ball rolling, keep the grinding rolling, and it just makes it feel so unexciting. You take something, a combat gameplay style as good as Devil May Cry, and then they boil it down to just the most boring and egregious microtransaction degree, and it feels really disappointing when you have a good game here that is in effect ruined by the platform it is forced to be on, and the business model it is forced to give out. But that's kind of where I stand. It's an impressive game, especially for a mobile title. I was playing it, by playing it through emulation, Android emulation on my PC, I even almost felt like a console game at times. And it does a good job at kind of mimicking that a little bit. Yeah, it's just a pretty solid game all around, and after going through a little bit, it also introduces co-op and versus, which is also a crazy thing. Well, Devil May Cry 5 played around a little bit with like co-op in the way that you can, sometimes see other players in the corner, and sometimes maybe they'll be fighting with you. And that was a really cool idea of just having a random multiplayer chance encounter, almost like Journey. It was a really cool idea. I want to see more games do stuff like that, but this Devil May Cry Peak of Combat game introduces full co-op and multiplayer, which is really cool to play. I don't think there's another stylish character action game that does this same thing. And then you have the other side of things, where the game's microtransactions, of course, are being egregious, and the shop is going to be thrown into your face at all moments. As you can see right now, I'm playing as Virgil, and it's obviously a tutorial to get you to, test out all the characters. You're still early on. They want you to, get a feel for the game itself. But interestingly enough, they decided to put Virgil's iconic sword, the Yamoto, behind a locked paywall. And of course, you could unlock it, if you get that 1% chance of luck. Of course, you're never going to do that unless you get super lucky. But it's that really iconic moveset that just feels stripped down and unfortunate. So thankfully, they let you try out the moveset on the menu. If you're lucky enough to get it, you basically can play what you're missing. And playing as Virgil in this game for the brief, tutorial moment I'm able to, feels incredible. And it's like, I don't know, it's all his best part of his moveset with the Yamoto, just put into one little stripped down mobile game. And it's just really cool as he can do all his fancy sword slashes. It's mostly just him attacking from afar and being able to just blink attack and slice everyone. It's incredibly fun to play, and it's what I would really want to play this game for, but unfortunately it's locked behind a paywall, and even then it's like you're almost guaranteed to do it and get it, but not always. And that's really, why everyone has issues with a lot of mobile games, is that it's never ending with its awful business model. It's like I would have gladly paid even like $40 for a Steam version of this just to play it and feel like a real game. I would almost put up with the bullshit of boosting your weapons and boosting your items, all designed to keep the game going forever. I would almost put up with if it was just a little bit less grindy and asking you for money at all times. And again, that is just the disappointment that is the mobile game genre for the most part, or I guess you could say free-to-play genre. We've gotten to the point where so many mobile games and free-to-play games have such incredible potential. Personally, like Genshin Impact is a fantastic video game that I had some amazing memories with, but for me, it does start bogging down when you get to the grind, and the grind is designed to be inevitable. And it's like, I personally play so many games, I cannot justify spending more than the already asking price on a lot of these games. And $60 could only get you so far in Devil May Cry Peak of Combat, whereas a $60-$70 purchase of Devil May Cry 5 could get you far more gameplay, far more enjoyment, and without a ticking shop timer in the top right hand corner of your screen at all times. So all in all, Devil May Cry Peak of Combat joins the pile of disappointing mobile game releases that I wish were full games, and I can't imagine that pile ending anytime soon, especially as Persona the Phantom X exists and eventually comes out and will ask me for my money, in which I will unfortunately, through out of obligation to the series, probably drop a few bucks on it. But overall, Devil May Cry, I think, is a solid video game that I think people should give a try. If anything, the opening is fun to play and just kind of get an idea of like, hey, this is really what we could do. And maybe things will go the way of Mega Man X, offline Dive X, where they turned into an offline product after they kind of decided to allow people to just purchase the game for $30 and enjoy it. And without all the grindy bullshit that is mobile games. And I want to see more mobile games do that. I would have gladly paid $30 to $40 for this game without all the grindy bullshit. Anyway, thank you for joining me. Give the game a shot if you want. It's free. Obviously, you're not going to lose any money unless you get addicted to it, which wasn't a problem for me, obviously. We have some amazing games coming out starting mid-January all the way probably until December, but it seems like it's going to be a heavy next few months for me. I'm excited. Probably in my recommendations, should probably spend your money on something more exciting like Yakuza, Grand Blue, Persona 3, Final Fantasy 7, just to name a few off the top of my head. Anyway, thanks for joining me, and enjoy video games.